in finance, and so forth. And you also probably know that regarding crypto, I was probably, maybe a little bit late to that game, if we want to be honest. At least I did.
Jim?
Yes.
I think it just started recording just now.
Okay, just started recording now? Well, excellent. Hi, Sidia. You guys, James Holmes from Black Lion Foundation. And with us, we have Miss Sidia Wright. Sidia, I personally think is an awesome person, and she's got an awesome mathematical and investment mind. She's actually been following crypto for quite some time before I would even seriously consider it. You guys know I'm on the bandwagon now, and luckily it's doing pretty well. So first of all, hello, Miss Sidia Wright. How are you?
Hello, 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 hello. I'm awesome. How are you doing tonight? Glad to be here.
I'm doing excellent. You guys, I'm in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area and Zooming with Sidia, and you're in Charlotte, right?
I am. Yes, I am.
I bet your weather's probably better than ours, huh?
I bet you're right.
It's probably not taking too much to do that. Well, anyway, the reason why I have Sidia here is actually this call had been planned for quite a while. So I think there must be some, I don't know, pretty awesome karma going on or whatever. But, we like to talk to various people that dabble in various things. And Sidia, as far as I'm concerned, has been in front of the curve as far as crypto. And it's so ironic. Today, Bitcoin breaks $52,000 per coin. And you were scheduled to call. Is that ironic or what?
I can believe that. It sounds like a Bitcoin move to me.
Well, give us your thoughts on that, Sidia.
Well, I started following crypto and Bitcoin back in early 2017. So I wasn't one of the first adapters of, Bitcoin, but it was something that I was interested in. And back 2017, oh my gosh, it's a disruptive technology, as you know. But back then, no one knew anything about it. And people were so scared to even learn about it. And so to see it get to 50K now, if I think back, we've seen some highs and lows and up to 20K and down to 2K. But to see it at 50, I believe it, but it's just, I didn't expect it to happen. I was thinking more of like 2022. So I think we're a little bit ahead of it. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to go much higher. I think it probably will retrace a little bit as well. Might come down some.
Pretty much count on that.
Yeah. But I think it's going to go higher than 50. So I've been excited. When it hit 10, I was excited. So.
Well, you know what? Since you opened that Pandora's box, what are your targets?
That's a good question. If I go off of pure psychology of it all, because I kind of tend to grapple with putting Bitcoin in the bucket of humans do things over and over again. It's kind of like a psychology to me. So I would say higher than 250,000, like over 250. Yeah. Okay. And some people are saying even higher than that, but it's hard to say, but it's gonna get pretty high. It is.
So we see your targets at 250. What about timeline?
Timeline? Ooh, well, see, I was a little bit off on this timeline, 50K.
But in a good type of way, huh?
Yeah, it was good, because that's the thing with technology. As time goes on, it gets quicker. and it gets quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So
You get those bounces.
yeah. So I would say boy, maybe 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so this is 2021, and so okay, so 2023 to
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah, like short
Yeah,
term.
yeah,
Yeah, like short
that's not
term.
bad. And then you figure it's at about 52 now.
Yeah.
So basically you round that off to 50, so you're basically talking 5 times. Uh,
And I'm being
and
conservative, Jim. I'm have to say that. I'm being
I know.
conservative.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I know you. I know you are.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? The thing about that is that I don't think that that's a bad perspective at all. And generally, if whenever I voice any targets, I usually try to look at it from a conservative perspective. Also, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because we want to make sure that well, I mean, when we want to improve our percentages of actually hitting those targets, because literally it's a time capsule. We can go back and we can look, or
Mm-hmm.
anyone else can go back and they can look. And something that I'm pretty, um, I guess, pleased about myself is that if somebody, if they were to go back and look at some of the targets that I made or even insinuated, they've all hit. Which, I mean, I know that's unrealistic to think,
Mm-hmm.
that they're all going to hit. That's not going to happen. I'm pretty happy about that. And now I'll tell you something and say, okay, so you started in 2017. This is 2021. It
Mm-hmm.
had to be 2 or 3 years ago when you were telling me about it. It had to be somewhere in there.
I
I mean,
think
I don't
so.
remember.
I think it was a couple of years ago. I have to
Okay,
say. Uh-huh.
okay.
So I was still
And
in Minnesota then. So it was a couple of years ago.
right.
Um, so that would what puts us in maybe like
It was probably
2019,
2019,
maybe?
2018. Probably, I bet it was 2018. I could literally probably go back and find out exactly, but I'm going to guess, probably 2018 if I had to guess. Matter of fact, yeah, I feel pretty confident now, which still is, just a little over a couple of years ago. And the
Mhm,
thing about it is, back then, I had also heard from some other people. One
mhm.
of my kids, I'm not going to name which one, actually took some graduation money, some college graduation money, and
Really?
invested in it, and has done very well. This kid, I'm not going to like say he or she because that'll tip it off, probably, but and has a hodl mentality.
Really?
So you know what I mean by hodl, right?
Oh yeah.
You want to explain hodl to our
No,
audience?
I don't want to explain it, but I
You
know I
don't?
know what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
You're
Well, I'll explain it. Hodl basically means within the Bitcoin circle is a hold on for dear life. And
I wasn't
I
gonna
would
say that.
and I would say that a source of that is a lot of the people, not a, well, a good percentage of the people that actually were on really early on Bitcoin tend to be more of, our, I don't know, almost like geek like or whatever. And they had done enough research and had a good enough understanding to where they weren't going to be swayed.
Yeah.
They were not going to be swayed. And even now, I think the personality of some of the real Bitcoin loyalists, I do think that that is going to be one of the things that really, really makes this a long-term investment.
Okay, that's
You know,
interesting.
yeah. So
Okay.
I'll give you some, I guess, more insight on that as far as is the way that I look at it. Okay,
Okay.
let's just take, for example, let's just go with some of the little Reddit crowd or whatever. That seems to be the flavor of the month right now, and some of the things that they're doing. And And, you know, in some of the orchestrated pump and dumps and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And as far as I'm concerned, I just don't think that that works with Bitcoin. I don't think um, whales trying to short it works. And if anything, I think whales that maybe thought about shorting Bitcoin, and I do believe Bitcoin, and I do believe there were some out there. I think they got scared off by that whole thing with GMC because they could see, hey, you know, if you could have massive short squeezes on something, you know, like GMC that really have no, it's not a loyal following. Let's just understand it. And even if you look at the technicals behind the company, I mean, they're not impressive. Versus Bitcoin, it's just the opposite. The technicals are pretty incredible, and we could sit there and we could go down point by point by point. And the following, there's a certain percentage of the following that's like extremely loyal, and those are the same ones that will still be hanging on when volatility continues. And I'm going to tell you something else. And you said this earlier. You talked about a retracing. I'm like, you can just count on that because I think the technical traders they feel like they're stealing money here because it goes up, retraces back, goes up, retraces back, goes up, retraces back. But I believe eventually some of the whales are going to start some manipulation. What I mean by that is they'll intentionally start shorting it and just different things like that to get it to swing, you know, more broadly. And that alone will automatically send some people running away because there's a good percentage of us that just can't take that type of volatility. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. And that makes sense. My thought, you did say, because I can hear you, but a little bit, your picture went away too. But I can hear you. Did you ask me what my thoughts are?
Yeah, just generally speaking on
okay. That. Okay, so what I think is, I don't think it's going to be another thing with the Reddit and the pump and dumps and things like that. You have to remember GameStop, if you think about it as a liquid company, you have to, I look at GameStop as like the Blockbuster, right?
Yeah.
So because, you know, GameStop is one of those where it's kind of on its way out anyways, because I don't have kids, but I know a lot of young people and some young adults as well that play video games, right? And so how do you play your video games nowadays? You don't go into the store and get your games anymore, I don't think. I think one of those things, you have a selection on your computer, right? So I would have never valued GameStop anyways. So it was one of the, I just stayed away from it. It just didn't make sense to me. But I think when I think about Bitcoin and some of the altcoins too, in particular, like Ethereum, I think that I'm looking at it from a standpoint of it's bigger than the whales. You're gonna start to see as you start to see.
I like that.
Yeah, it's bigger than whales, right? Because now what's happening is, what I'm seeing is, it's becoming, companies are beginning to adapt to crypto and Bitcoin in particular, right? So when you have major companies start to say, you know what, we are going to turn some of our balance sheets into crypto. What are they going to go for? They're going to go for Bitcoin first. So if I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and we were talking about if the Fortune 500 companies, if they just were to switch over some of their assets, like 1% of their assets, if every Fortune 500 company switched over 1% of their assets, that right there probably has a valuation of like 40 G's in a day. Like I don't think people understand like the magnitude of it all. So if you think of
They
the
might
push
be
point,
starting to get a little glimpse.
right, because back when we first started talking about it, this was when companies were just now starting to kind of secretly get their teams together for crypto, like actually
Hmm.
hiring crypto people to come
Hmm.
in and tell us what is this
Help
and
them
why
understand
we
it.
should put, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
as the adaption starts to happen and these bigger companies are starting to say, because you always have to think about it. The companies that say that they're involved in crypto, there's probably always, times 3% more, or what I mean? Like there's
More than that.
double,
I'd say
right?
times 10.
Times 10, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
They're so sneaky.
right. And they're sneaky because you have to think about it. There's only 21 million Bitcoins, right?
Yes.
So
That's
you
the
have to
percentage.
be somewhat sneaky to try to get as many of the coins as you can, right? It's like
Hmm.
a game.
And those 21 million aren't even out now, but that's just where it's
Exactly.
going to be capped. Right.
Exactly. And you have to, account for lost. People lose Bitcoin all the time,
That's true.
right? Not good,
Some of those stories
but
are real.
yeah, right. So you have to think about it. Okay, so what are these companies are going to start doing? What they're going to
Hmm.
start doing is okay, when you think of money and you think of banks, right? What do banks
Hmm.
try to get you to do? They try
Yep.
to get you to bank with them. Bring your money over here. Bring it. So then they start to give you all these incentives.
Hmm.
$300. You open up a
Hmm.
checking account, right?
Yep.
What's going to start to happen is companies are going to start incentivizing to get Bitcoin, right? This is just things I think of at night, right? So that,
I like
you
it.
know, and so companies are going to say, hey, you park your Bitcoin over with us, we're going to give you such and such. And this isn't even touching on the fact that then they might start somehow giving dividends. Like there's
Oh
just
yeah.
so
Oh,
much
absolutely. That's in the
that
works.
hasn't even
Absolutely.
been tapped. 50K is low. Like it really
Hmm.
is if you think about it.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
I say a couple of years, maybe 250,000, but I could definitely be wrong. It's going to be so much bigger. And
Hmm.
Ethereum is right behind Bitcoin. Like
Hmm.
if you look at where Ethereum is now, that's where
Hmm.
Bitcoin was in like 2017.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Um,
look at the price right now.
yeah. Yeah. You have some very bright minds that are very bullish on Ethereum.
Oh yeah,
They
I'm one of
really
them.
are. They really
Hmm.
are. Getting back to Bitcoin, I actually went public with I went public with the 100 target this year, and you know what? That's too low.
Did you
I,
really? You want to
I,
change?
I'm upping it. I'm upping it to 150. I see no reason why it won't surpass 150 this year. Now,
Oh,
for
this
all you
year.
guys, that is not a recommendation that you go out and you spend your bill money on Bitcoin. Okay, all
Right,
right. This is not investment advice. This is just uh, educational information and my opinion. But
right.
yeah, I think it'll cross 150 pretty easily. I see I see
This
a
year,
lot
Jim.
of things underlying. What is that?
This year? You think this year?
Yes, yes, by December 31st. By December 31st.
Wow.
I see a lot of things going on here. Okay, so think about this. Micro strategies, okay, they've
Mhm.
already gone 100% Bitcoin. They took all of their cash and they've already gone 100% Bitcoin.
I
Okay,
heard that.
and 100%. I'm not talking 1% or 10% of
Uh-huh.
their liquid assets. I'm talking 100%, which is saying something. Um,
Mhm.
Also, in addition to that, you're getting more and more institutions that literally have gone public with it.
Mhm.
Mass Mutual, they have not hid the fact that they bought a big lump of Bitcoin. The Mass Mutual, think about that. Insurance company, and think about just all the red tape that they have to jump through
Mhm.
in order to do that type of stuff. I think that Grayscale, which Grayscale You know, they have the Bitcoin Trust now, and I was like, I want to buy some, and couldn't get in to buy any, and then I find out. So I guess it's still private, so I guess you can only buy it if they let you buy some. But
Oh.
MicroStrategies, anyone can go in and buy that. But Grayscale has bought so much of it that literally, to me, it's almost like you can see the writing on the walls, okay? Because you remember I cut my teeth back at Merrill Lynch back in the day. And so a lot of that thinking, it's hard to just shake it all off of that thinking. But I've been working on it. I mean, it took me 5 years to really understand Bitcoin. 5 years. So late's better than never. And even that's okay, because statistically, I think it's like really only about 6% of the investors are even involved with Bitcoin now at all. So actually, it's still pretty early. I also think that it's somewhat of a great equalizer, because say, for example, people in the community and so forth, and it's easy interest points. There's nothing stopping them. Think about that. Nothing stopping them at all. And if you look at, like, say, when I first started way back in the day, they had the high entry points. And really, if somebody wasn't going to put at least, say, 100,000 with us or whatever, it wasn't even that good a use of our time, if you think about it. And so that was pretty much the prevailing attitude for years and years and years and years. And that's starting to change now, because people can open one of these apps now and they can start with, $50, which is pretty cool. But anyway, getting back to some of the other things, this is what I see coming, is I see pressure from individual investors. Okay, let's say you got a ETF, or you're a big hedge fund manager. Say you're the big hedge fund manager, and you're just investing. Still, maybe you got a third of your portfolio in fixed income, right? Which I think is like left the train station, fixed income bonds and stuff like that. Okay, really, come on, you get what 1%, 2%? Is that like dumb now or what? Okay, but let's just say you still straddled with something like that, and then you're mixing it in.
Better than nothing.
And then, maybe you're averaging, 6% return. And, they're like, my neighbor has been buying Bitcoin and they're just making way, way more than that. I need you to put some of that in my fund or something so that I can get higher returns, or I'm going to take my money out. And you said it earlier, all of these places, whether they're a bank, hedge fund, you name it, they want you to put your money there. And I mean, there's we can peel a lot of layers off that onion. We don't even probably have time for all of that tonight, but they all want the assets. They don't want to give up the assets. So guess what? Joe Fund Manager, he's under pressure to get higher returns, and he knows he somehow or another got to get involved in some of this Bitcoin wave, because after a while, you don't have to be that much of a genius to see what's going on. Oh my goodness, let's see. The 10-year record. What's the return? Oh, gee, it's over 200% on a 10-year average, isn't it? Huh? I mean, how much more do you really need? How much more?
Well, it was like 400% 2020. So
yeah. And I think it'll be, and I actually called this early this year, easily over 300 this year. And I actually did make that public, easily over 300 this year. And I think it'll have no trouble with that whatsoever. But anyway, let me get back on point here. So to me, I think it's ingenious. You got places like MicroStrategies and Grayscale and places like that that are loading up with billions of dollars. And Grayscale literally just actually got permission to get 600 million more of it added to what they already have. So to me, what they're doing is they're positioning themselves as almost like the middleman. So when Fidelity or AIM or Franklin or some of the insurance companies or some of the other hedge funds or whatever, it's like they're the go-between, the liaison. So they don't have to go straight to the blockchain. They can literally get theirs from Grayscale. Oh, it's in a Grayscale trust. and it's a security, a U.S. security, and uh, MicroStrategies. And so the more the institutions jump in, as we all know, the more this thing bounces. I think they're pressured to. Um, they just are. What is that? FOMO, right?
Yeah,
FOMO.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Fear that you're going to be losing out. Fear of missed opportunities.
Yeah. I think that you said something really important that we should definitely talk about, because yes, there are the movers, the movers of the market. You have your whales, you have these companies and things of that nature. But what is really important is if people would take the time to actually look into some of these things and realize it's so easy to go buy $50, $100 here, whatever, in a wallet that you have on your smartphone. You don't have to meet with anybody. You don't have to pay anybody. You can do it yourself. That is what needs to get out. That just the matter of the entry is so minimum. And you start to see how investing can change your life. Literally.
Yes,
$10, $50 at a time. When I first started buying Bitcoin, I was just chunking off whatever. Like I didn't have a rhyme or reason. It was just going towards Bitcoin, to be honest. I didn't know what, but I'm like, I believe in this. And it just, at first I was like, okay, I'll do every week or every 2 weeks or whatever. And it just became so easy, just like some of the apps out there, Acorns or, different things where you just mindlessly just, accumulate investments and assets and things like that. Same thing with having a wallet. I believe just like people should have checking accounts and savings accounts to do what they need to do, your investments accounts, you should also have a wallet. You have to have a wallet. And it doesn't have to be all crypto. It can be whatever, but you need to have an electronic wallet where you're consistently investing in. And crypto is just as easy as the other investments, to be honest.
It is now. It is now. At least it is with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and a few others. Litecoin is pretty easy to get. Some of the others are a little tougher to get. Like Ripple and whatever. So, and I don't even think I really wanted Ripple.
Ooh, yeah, you're gonna have some problems for a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Now, one of the things that I talked to my group about, in addition to, Bitcoin being a good idea, also not to be duped by just the name crypto and get too involved with a lot of these other speculative ones and things like that without knowing what they're doing. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think, or I believe that you shouldn't go into anything not really knowing what's going on. And it's crypto. It could be anything. It could be stocks. It could even be, like I tell people all the time, know what you're investing in, even if you're investing in just 401k. You should know what's going on. Okay, that's the first thing. So I believe that if you understand what Bitcoin is, that's the first thing. You need to know what it is, not just that everybody's looking for this electronic coin. You need to know what it is and kind of where it's going. So that's just like the basis of it all. And as far as altcoins, like, your Ethereums and things of that nature, it's good to know what those projects are as well. Just like Ethereum, that's kind of more of a technology thing. And it's going to be big because if you think about it, it's the project is centered around apps. Okay, apps are
Mm-hmm.
becoming a big thing. So you got to think about it. You know what? There's an app for that, right? There's an app for everything, right? So that's Ethereum. So like if you're investing in the stock market, you want to invest in companies that you know something about, right? So same thing with
Yeah.
crypto. Mhm.
Girl, it's almost like you've been listening to some of my messages or something. I know you probably haven't been, but it's almost like you have.
In
I mean, 'cause
spirit,
that's
always.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Even if
We're
I'm
researchers.
explaining,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're learners.
absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Even if I'm explaining something to them that I like, I always say go and do your own research. Make sure you're comfortable. And another reason why I think it's important to make sure individually that you're comfortable is so that you have a plan. Okay,
Hmm.
whatever that plan is, hopefully you have a entrance and an exit strategy, and everybody's is different. They don't all have to be the same. And in addition to that, um, once you're secure with that plan, stay with that plan unless something significant changes. Because to me, having that plan will help you um, navigate through some of the turbulent times, because I mean, you make that move all the way up. Okay, it crossed 50 yesterday and retraced back quickly. And I mean, to me, it was evident that there was a resistance band at 50. And I told a couple of people yesterday, I'm like, that's okay. It's coming back. And when it does, then eventually 50 will be where it resets, and then it's going to just keep on going toward, um, you know, higher points, higher
Right,
points.
right. And I would have to say, I'll add on to what you were talking about as far as having a plan.
Mm-hmm.
A funny story I have is I had a plan when Bitcoin was at what, 9,000. I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, once it gets to 50, that's when I'll take some out, right? So
Well,
my whole plan was once it hits 50, I'll take some out, right? I wasn't going to take out anything until it hit 50. That was
right.
the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it from a have a plan, stick
Mm-hmm.
to it, because even when it got to 20, I was like, oh, but my plan was 50. And even when
Okay.
it got to 40, I was
Mm-hmm.
like 50. Don't know. And I tell you, when it got to 47, and I'm like, oh, but what happened was, which was funny, is it's kind of like when you don't want to exercise, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you get on the treadmill anyway, and you
You
tell
can't get
yourself,
started.
I'm only going to do 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is you start to feel better after the 5 minutes and you hold on longer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
waited all this time, right?
Uh-huh.
To get to 50.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So you telling me
I ain't doing it. No,
oh,
I am holding
so
on.
you still riding,
Yeah, I'm right.
you still
So
riding.
what happens is,
That's like my kid. My kid who's in it. My kid's not taking anything
no, no, you know, you
out.
know. And so what happens is you keep it there, but now you have to have another plan. What's the plan now? You
Uh-huh.
had your chance
Okay,
at
what's your
50.
plan?
What's your new plan? Because you can't just not do anything, because then when it gets to 60, you might say, well, it's over 50.
Well, we're waiting. What's your plan?
Right. So my plan now, I'm gonna hold off until 85.
Okay.
And then when I get to 85, I'm gonna take out just a little. It's not gonna be a lot, but just a little bit.
You know, I'll admit. Remember, I told you I can't shake off all that old school stuff.
Yes.
At all, and I don't feel bad about that. I don't feel bad about that because I got a good solid education, but with that, what I've had to do with time is I've had to tweak it and adjust it with time. Like the modern portfolio theory, and I've adapted that because literally, although asset allocation models would have like bonds at 50% or as much as like 70%, and I just took it all out, and so I replaced. I mean, not at 70%, which I mean, no offense to anybody that's going real high like that, but I got my Bitcoin portion of my pie up to 50, which for me is super aggressive. That's like super aggressive for an old school guy like me. But anyway, I still have some of that old school in me. And it's something that they used to say to us, and I'll probably die with this. And I don't feel bad about it at all because I believe it. And the saying is, you never go broke by taking profits. So I'll confess, I took some profits today. And
your plan was 50? Was your plan 50?
Well, the way that I've been doing it is on big runs, I'll take a little bit. Okay, not a lot. I'll just take a little bit, and I dollar cost average down. So
okay,
it's almost like taking candy from a baby because it's like you don't have to be Einstein to know it makes a big move. It's gonna retrace back. Okay, so I took a little bit off, dollar cost average down, bought it cheaper. It's going back. I feel kind of guilty because I've been doing that fairly regularly. And the thing about it, though, to me, the reason why I feel like it's super hedged is, first of all, I've taken some profits, so I'm already now playing with house money already. Okay, and it's at 52 already with house money, and in addition to that, when it retraces, I still stock back up. And let's just say if it ever like stops retracing, that's fine. Guess what? If it doesn't retrace anymore, I'm making money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is, hey, with the stuff I use, I can't lose.
That's true. And I suppose I should disclose that the reason why it's not very hard for me to just hold on to it and not take out the profits is because I also am a trader. So I take my profits from that end, right? And I'll take profit from that end, but then I'll also buy more Bitcoin with it. So it's kind of one of those, I'll get that profit out.
And it's so funny you say you're a trader is because I don't define myself as a trader. Isn't that funny? I define myself as a buy and hold person. I do. But with Bitcoin, I have been doing some modest trading. So it's, not day trading or anything like that. But I would probably say, once every month or two or three, whenever there's a big run, I'll go in and, as my dad used to say, pinch a little bit off.
Right.
I go in and I pinch a little bit off. And like I said, every single time so far, it's retraced back. And I mean, I've had people text me, so Jim, when you start to buy back in, it's like, I don't try to predict it, dude. I just dollar cost average down.
That's right. That's
right. I've plenty of people, text me. So when do we buy back in? When do you buy back in? I'm like, dude, I don't know when you buy back in. I just dollar cost average down. So that is just, and I know, and you do have a lot of traders though on that. And to me, for the traders, I just think they're like thinking this is like manna from heaven. I mean, how tough is that? And you think about all the analytics that these guys have to go through on a normal basis, and this right here, it doesn't even take that much. And one day something will happen where somebody's gonna get slapped around a little bit. We all know that. And so I like your message, as far as, hey, make sure you do your research. And my message is never put in more than you cannot, risk to lose. Never do that, and always plan for the unforeseen. And that's another reason why I don't feel bad about, some of the modest profit taking that I've done. So if, the world gets nuked and tomorrow and just all heck breaks loose, I've still come out ahead.
That's right. Yeah, you always have to be responsible, and you don't want to, what you can't afford to lose, you don't even want to test it out, because the market will eat you alive, literally, and so yeah, that's true.
Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
All the time.
So, I mean, be aware of that. And that reminds me of like some of the Reddit stories, and I'm sure that there are some stories like this on Bitcoin. And some of them we probably haven't heard about. They're probably just winning now, but that doesn't mean that they're going to win every day. But like there was a Reddit story of a guy that took a second mortgage out on his mother's house, and he got involved in that GameStop fiasco and bought it near the top and just got wiped out. Just got wiped out. And they Robinhood and some of the other brokers did do them dirty. That when they say, "Oh, you can sell, but you can't buy anymore." What's that?
That's sad. That's because it wasn't even his to lose. It was someone else's house.
And that's just crazy. That's beyond gambling.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. That's beyond gambling. And they go on these sites and somebody says, "Hey, go do this," and they just blindly follow them. I'm like, really? Seriously? Kind of like our parents told us when we were kids, if Johnny's jumping in the lake, we're just gonna go jump in the lake. Huh? Really? Well, anyway, this has been like super, super cool. Do you have anything for us to take with us before we part our ways? And I go back to cold Minneapolis, and you go back to beautiful Charlotte.
Yeah, it was actually sunny today. It was beautiful out today.
Oh, you're rubbing it in.
Yeah, I have to say, but that's the reason why I came here. I lived my whole life in Minnesota and froze to death every single winter. And I just decided that, I can be anywhere with an internet connection. So why do I have to be in the snow? So I just really want to leave with everyone that if you're sitting on the fence or have been sitting on the fence and not really even knowing where to get in with investing, stocks or, crypto or any type of investment, real estate, whatever, because, diversifying is smart to do. I would just say that it's time to start. Okay. So it's just time to do something. It was what I sat on the sidelines with Bitcoin for at least a year or two before I really started to see what was going on with it. But look at it now. It's been 3, 4, 5 years now that I've been into Bitcoin. So I would say the time right now is to start doing something, investing, researching, figuring out what it is that that you want to stand behind, and maybe invest in that, whatever that is, So I would just say action. It's time for action. No more sitting on the sidelines. Everybody knows that the value of the dollar is going down every day.
And we didn't even go there.
Let's do something.
Maybe we'll address that on our next.
We should.
Our next conversation. So
let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah, so everybody, we're going to talk about the dollar, fiat currency at our next meeting with Sidia.
Fiat currency is dead. Let's talk about it.
Dying, for sure, for sure. Well, I think that those were excellent words of wisdom, great advice. I hope that everyone follows that. And I agree that whatever we do, we're going to have to, first of all, start learning more financial literacy, and we're going to have to invest in something, some way. And obviously, if you're going to put your money toward it, make sure you do your research. So with that, Queen.
One more thing
Okay.
I want to add.
Okay.
And hook up with someone who shares the same interests so that you both or your groups can all get better. That's what needs to happen as well.
Excellent. Like John Hope Bryant often says, if you hang around with 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th.
Oh, man. Yes. Yes.
Oh, all right, Queen.
Exactly.
Next week, right?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Hey, appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And enjoy Charlotte. All right.
Yes. All right.
Everybody have a good time.
Stay safe, be warm.
Thank you too. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.